So, yeah, welcome to John's Closet.
John's Closet.
With
Interview
John.
number 2.
What up, what up? My name is John also, so
Oh.
listen, unless you got similar closets, just does not look like mine.
It's okay. It doesn't look like my closet either. This is the Kava Closet.
The
Oh.
Kava Kulture. We're here at Kava Kulture with Go United,
And just
doing
before,
some podcasting.
just before we get started, just special shout out to Goat United and
Yes.
Kava Culture for
Yes.
holding this event, connecting us with all these different artists. And yeah, John, go ahead and
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody.
Actually, plug in on your social media and stuff like that.
Oh shit! All right.
Where people can follow you. and
So my name is Jonathan Pauyo. I go by JP Poetry. So if you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at jp-poetry239. I'm also on Tumblr. Just give me 1 second. Let me get to that, and then I'll let y'all know.
well, speaking of Tumblr, how's that going?
You know what, man?
Is it
I'm still on
is it really gone now? Is
No,
Tumblr like finished?
Listen, I don't know. Like, can I curse? Like, is this?
Oh, I mean, we got a kid here, but you know.
Okay, they got rid of all the
But
female
fucking curse. It's not my kid.
So they got rid of all the female presenting nipples. So what they tried to do, or what their goal was stated, was that they were gonna try to get rid of all the porn blogs and pedophilia and all sorts of, the other nonsense that they had on there. But what it turned out is, like, there's legit, sex workers that they ended up closing their sites down and losing them hundreds of, money, like just a whole bunch of money.
Right.
And then, everything else is just the same. So the porn bots are still there.
Right.
Like, all the pedos are still there. The Nazis are still there.
Really?
But all of the legitimate, like, sex workers that were on there, that were getting gigs on there, all of them got shut down.
God damn. So what do they go to now? Like, okay, because Craigslist got shut down, Backpage, and now Tumblr and shit. Like, they gotta go to Twitter? Like, what's going on Instagram?
As far as I know, there's like a whole bunch of websites. Like, I don't pay for sex. Like,
yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm having sex, but I don't pay for sex.
I mean, you pay for it in other ways. You pay for it with your time.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to listen to a girl who's boring when you want to have sex with her for 2 hours. That feels like...
Nah, I just walk away.
You just walk away?
Bro, I don't need sex that bad in my life.
Yo, I go for the gold, man.
Respect. But yeah, no, like, I mean, it is what it is, but like, I can't get off Tumblr. I've been on there since, like, since before God was born. So I've been on there since way back in the day. You can't just get off of Tumblr like that. I have history on there. I get all of my memes from there. Like, I would not be funny if Tumblr didn't exist.
What is up with Tumblr and, like, it being like the like, I almost feel like it's like an LGBT like app in itself. Like,
Well,
what is it about
mean,
Tumblr that's so?
It's a safe place. Like, that's
It's
the
a safe
thing.
place, okay.
There's two parts to it, I think. Now, mind you, I am on the fringe of the LGBT community. If I had to be anywhere near it, like, I'm barely LGBT in any sense. But I feel like it's a safe space.
Safe space,
okay.
Where won't be judged.
You still get the anonymity of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but on top of it, you have that legit where you can have those real interactions with people if you so choose.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that way, it's separate in its form and the way the internet works, where, on the internet, if you want to be anonymous, you're completely anonymous. Tumblr doesn't allow that full level of anonymity, and it gives you the option of not being that anonymous on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since I just remembered, it's also jp-poetry.tumblr.com.
Yes.
That is my page on there.
Mm-hmm.
I am a poet. I released a book in August of this year.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so it's called On the Subject of Race, Sexuality, and Other Bullshit. It is available on Amazon, so either put my name in, or if you remember the name of the book, type that in. It'll pop up the first thing that you see. So
now, are you one of these new age artists where, like, you were a poet / rapper / producer / dancer / like, or are you just purely a poet?
Honestly, I can't say I'm purely a poet. Like,
Okay.
I do music and musical things on the side, but I don't really perform that. What I've been performing is my poetry. So that's kind of what I've been pushing out myself as. But I'm also trying to become more. So you guys are doing your podcast, which I 100% respect, and I want to do something similar to not similar to what you guys do, but I'm gonna be, next year there's gonna be a podcast that I want to start called Artist Talk, where I get
It'd be so funny if you called it John's Closet. It was John's Closet too. I thought you were gonna go for the joke, but that's just my comedian brain.
No,
I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, he's gonna do the joke.
I respect that. No, but like,
you're gonna do. You're also gonna do a podcast.
Yeah, so it's gonna be called Artist Talks. What it is I'm gonna get separate artists from the community and entrepreneurs, shakers and movers, and people who are influencing the community that we live in. And they're going to pick a topic that they're passionate about, that they want to really talk about. And then they're going to have an hour to discuss with me and the community, because it's going to be open for the community to ask questions. So
that'll be dope. That's dope,
so
actually.
There's going to be, it's going to be a pre-recorded show, at least to begin with. But there's going to be social media where we're going to be putting up, hey, this is the topic that we're going to be discussing. Send your questions for this artist that's in the community that's going to be talking that day. The purpose of that is straight up just, our community, there's a lot of badass people in our community.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of artists here that are really dope.
Honestly, I'm sure half of the people out there are the artists,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of badass people in the community, and they're all doing something, and they're all passionate about separate things. So I kind of like the idea of them talking about what they're passionate about. That's not just their art, I really like that idea.
So what is your album of the year? I know there's a lot of music that came out this year, and I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, yo, man, like, I said JPEG Mafia veteran, but I'm like, damn. But there was also like 40 other albums I listened to this year. Like I might have to
second that, by the way.
Yeah, it's an amazing album.
It came out this year.
Yeah. But so what's your album of the year?
Honestly, album of the year for me, like, I can't say anything else because I've already got 2 of their tattoos on my body.
So you got a hard commit.
So exactly. So it would have to be the new Coheed and Cambria album.
Ooh.
I'm a huge Coheed fan. Like, I woke up one morning and I was getting ready for school in middle school, and I heard a woman singing on the TV while I was in the shower. I walked out and I saw that it was Claudio, and I was like, fuck, that's my favorite band. Honestly, that man's range is insane.
Yeah, no, what's the tattoo that you got from them?
So they've got an album called Ascension, and 2 albums really. It's a dual album called Ascension Dissension. So I got the main logo over here, and then I've got like Coheed's keywork tattoo on my back. So the keywork is essentially the biggest thing that people recognize as a Coheed symbol. So if you ever see something with the keywork, it's like a triangle with 3 circles, and it's, I don't know, like, I know all the lore, so I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm a huge geek about it. They've got comic books, so I was like, sold.
Comic books?
Yo.
God damn.
So their first 5 albums, if I'm not mistaken, were all a comic book concept albums. So Claudio Sanchez is the writer. He wrote a book, 5 comic books. He's got another set of comic books called Kill Audio. I think he has more comic books coming out that goes along with the rest of his albums. And yeah, man, like, he's just an amazing artist, and all of them were just amazing artists, man. Like, I really haven't.
That's kind of an interesting mix of just like art forms to get involved in, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is prog rock, so he has a lot of fucking leeway to do whatever he wants to. But at the same time, they're just very talented artists overall. When I first got into them, I didn't even know about the comic books. It wasn't until I became like a fan that I was like, oh shit, I gotta read those comic books.
Right.
So what's a new thing? What's a growth? What's something that's changed about you in 2018? Like, what would you say is like something that you've progressed towards?
I have matured a lot as a human being, as a person.
That's good.
Like, I went through some rough shit, like starting in the beginning of last year, all the way
starting January 1st, like
starting at February 2nd.
Oh, wow, that's pretty early.
Yeah,
in the
like
year.
February 2nd of last year, I went through something, and it took me a minute to get myself to where I needed to be. But then I dealt with a lot this year, and I realized that I have so much more strength in me than I ever thought I did, I mean, I didn't realize it by myself. I had to go to therapy and like talk to somebody, but I grew so much as a person.
Yeah. That's the thing about that, when people say they want to grow as a person or whatever, they want to change, you have to, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, you kind of have to go through some kind of adversity to make you change, to put you in a spot where you can, in order to grow.
I absolutely agree. Like,
Yeah.
because honestly, I always told myself, yeah, I'm going to be so much better. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Until you get to that point where you don't have a choice of staying the way that you were.
Yeah.
Like, then, you can always put off growing up, put off growing as a person for the next day. And like I said, man, the last year, now I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm not going to say, but I've noticed changes in myself. I'm a lot more responsible, a lot more conscious-minded, like, of my surroundings, myself, and what I'm doing. And on top of it, man, it's a motivator. When you're going through things and you're changing and you're growing, like, that's kind of half of why I wrote my book.
Yeah.
I've been going through a lot of things, and in the book, I write about these topics and these thoughts that I'm processing. I have so many other poems that aren't in the book, but that's just because they didn't relate to my growth, I guess.
Right.
They were good poems. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say
they were fire.
They were fire.
They were fire.
But they, like how when you're sending somebody like a video of you doing something and they send back like 16 little fire emojis. Those are the poems that I put in the book. The ones that I know get the 16 fire emojis. Now, mind you, sometimes it doesn't play to certain crowds, certain white people. You might not like it. But
shout out to white people. And shout out to half of John.
But for real, like it's called On the Subject of Race, Sexuality, and Other Bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is...
A lot of white devils in that.
Other than the bullshit, white people don't like a lot of the shit I talk about.
I'm just imagining like hardcore.
Shout out to white devil right there, Casey. white devil's about to come up. So we got one last question with you. So
yeah.
Team of.
So again, in the themes, of change.
I like that leeway. I see you, John.
So, I guess the fun question we're going to ask you now is, if you had 30 people, 30 experts in their field, and they had to work on something for you, whatever it was, be as selfish or as selfless as you want, what would you have those 30 experts, top tier in the world, work on?
All right, they would all be top tier therapists, psychologists, mental health experts, and they would all be working to get white people to unthink the way that they do. Like, legit.
Yeah, John.
Legit. Yo, no. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of white friends. I'm not racist. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a lot of things that are easily solved, like, and I'm not talking about, like, a lot of the younger generation. I'm talking, like, the old white Republican, that refuses to die even though he's got MRSA and 16 other diseases.
Who's paying for your woke liberal friends' tuition?
Exactly. Right. That person. I would have those people re-educated, because I think at this point those people just have a failure in thinking. Like, because you have evident fact in front of them, and they're still choosing to ignore the evident fact. And I don't know if it's built on how they were raised, what it was, but there's a failure in thinking. And I think that if we had a team of 30 expert therapists, psychologists, they could help them reframe their thinking.
Yeah, that's why I'm against universal health care, because these old white niggas need to die out, man. Like, they keep living. Like, no, stop the universal health care, man. We need these old racist niggas to die.
I think we should have an age cutoff on that. I think the age cutoff needs to be like 45. Then you got to work for your health care.
Yeah.
And then once you hit 65, just no more health care for you. You can't earn it. You can't work for it. Just die.
Rest in peace, Bernie Sanders.
Yo, except for Bernie Sanders. Bernie can stay, bro.
Yeah, Bernie
can stay.
Yeah, the top 1% of the top 1%.
Let's be real, though.
Yeah.
Bernie's kind of black though. Like that nigga did so much for black folk.
I felt uncomfortable with you saying that as a black person. No, okay.
He did so much. I mean, come on, man. The man was
Killer Mike fucks with him, so
exactly.
he's invited to the cookout. Is what black people will
exactly.
say.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Bernie woke, man. Bernie could chill.
Hey, John, it was a pleasure talking to you, but we got a million more artists, man. You were fantastic. Can you plug in your social media once again?
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is jp-poetry239, and my Tumblr is jp-poetry.tumblr.com. Just type those in, JP Poetry. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that exists, so I'll pop up on Google too.
Yeah. And,
Nice.
PSA to Tumblr, bring the titties back.
Hey,
Please.
thank you. Please, Tumblr. I miss my titties. Now I got to go to Newport like a dumb nigga.
Yeah. It's a pleasure talking to you, man.
It was a pleasure talking to y'all. Thank you, and have a good night.